What is up, YouTube? Jonusfatson back with Mr. Alexa, playing some Rocket League. We are 3-0, sir. I would like to point that out.
Actually, dude, we're 4-0.
Are we?
We had the forfeit, so.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the forfeit. I'm not going to say we're the greatest team in history. That would be Bob and Doug McKenzie.
I'm assuming these are hockey people. We're in threes. Crap. Well.
We're playing with the sausage link. That's fun.
You know what? This is a blessing in disguise.
Oh, God said no. Okay.
Dude, we had God on our team. This was our opportunity to succeed.
I love that God still had a 76 ping. Like, that's the best. Like, I got fiber. I got Google Fiber. I still have 76 ping. Oh, he's in the party now.
No, God is not in our party. That's Olexa 2 trying to play split screen with us. Okay. Pardon me. I keep on messing. Please pretend that I don't exist. Okay, Jonas, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. The first episode was really fun. Apologies. I said this in the other video too, but apologies to everybody that think that I'm going to be a decent player. Alexa's going to like just show me how to play the game, basically. And I'm going to try to win.
Like ever occurs in any video I ever do, so I'm feeling okay right now.
That's fair.
Yo, these guys have names too.
What's with the names? Why do we not have a name?
Yeah, we need to get ourselves a bracketed name in front of our names.
It's true. It's true.
So,
do you go by bedmass? Like, I'm speaking in math terms. Like, is it bedmass to you or is it pedmass? Like, because there's the parentheses rather than brackets.
It's PEMDAS.
PEMDAS. Not
PEMDAS. PMDAS. I was like, what the hell are you talking about at first? But I know exactly what you're talking about.
So in Canada, it's like bedmass. It's brackets, equations, or whatever it is. I can't remember.
Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction.
So are we doing it backwards here?
I don't know.
We might be doing division before multiplication.
I think it's like one of those things where it doesn't really matter. It's like if you do subtraction before addition, then things can get whacked. But if you do division before multiplication, they're basically the same thing. So maybe I have this opposite. I actually have no idea. I haven't done math in years, so it's actually like kind of not true, but also kind of true.
I just do computer programming. That's entirely math. Yeah. Whatever.
Okay. I want to clear up something because everybody and their mother's like, oh, computer programming, better know calculus for that. I've been coding for like 7-8 years now. Never once in my life have I used calculus while programming.
That's why you use programming. That's why I use it. I'm like, why would I do math? This computer will just do it for me.
It's like I need to know the most like mathy thing that I've done in any form of programming is like using modulo, which people just don't know because it's not something that's taught in schools.
Did you see that goal?
I love how he started saying it before he even like didn't block it.
His name is Crunchy Salad. I don't think he's stopping it.
It's just that guy was a potato right there.
That guy's the Jonus of that team.
No, I hate when people are like, oh, programming is all math. It literally, like, sure, if you consider math to be, 1 + 1 = 2, then sure, it's math. But
I think it's one of those things that it can be as complicated as you make it. There is, like, some programming that you do need to know, like, quite a bit. When you get into, like, the physics simulations and stuff, there's actually, like, quite a lot, but
if you're a computer science major at your university, you're not doing physics simulations. That's what the physics people do.
Yeah.
So, like, and it's kind of like, at this point in time, and I know I've probably bored many people to death about this at this time in my life, but I've said a million times that, like, every single person in this universe should be learning how to code, because in the future, like, that's all that's going to be there in terms of jobs. Like, you're going to need to know how to code. It's just going to become like standard thing.
Absolutely.
So you might as well learn it now and then get in on it. But the physics people are going to be learning code anyway in order to do physics simulations. So leave the physics crap to the physics people. You know?
That's very true. Yeah. Pretty much any blue collar job is going to be, actually not even that, like even more so. I think you're right. I think automation in general is going to take away a lot of like the mundanity of like the general careers. And
Yeah.
it's going to be an interesting time in the next like 15. It really is.
15 days, years.
Years.
All right,
Yeah.
I didn't know if you meant like the next 15 minutes is gonna get really whack, because I was like, man, if the world's about to advance while we're playing Rocket League, then maybe we should not be. But
And that's the thing too. Like I kind of like think sometimes too. I'm like, man, like all this automation is still going on. Like people are writing Python scripts that are like creating poetry from tweets, and I'm doing nothing. Like
yeah, I mean, so like, you know that I'm Python guy.
yes.
Like, very much so. It's my favorite language to program in. I've talked about this a crap load to everybody that is watching this. And
I think the application to the Unusual crew was like writing a Python script, actually.
yeah, give or take. And why the hell we kept Ryan in, because that guy knows nothing, is beyond me. But I've done stuff in Python, and it's just like, it's basic automation type stuff, where I look at it and I go, you know, this is something that this would have been somebody's job like 10 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And I just did it in about 3.5 seconds.
Yeah. No, I don't argue that at all. We're
It's
like filling forms and stuff. You're
Oh,
like,
absolutely, dude.
like you can just write it like a PDF scrubber that takes forms and does it automatically and puts it into a database.
Yeah, like, so for example, I was working with a company this summer. Company will go unnamed because a lot of people actually probably know the company. And they had me every day. I had to read these like 2 reports that came into our mailbox for the team, our email mailbox, since we're not in 1900. And every morning I would have to take these emails, I'd download them, I'd pull the attachments from them, I'd open the attachments. They were both Excel documents. I would open the Excel documents, which would take, you know, a good chunk of time to load them on these dinosaur laptops. And then I'd have to, you know, go grab this macro that's sitting on the computers. I'd have to run the macro on the Excel docs to like make everything look pretty and clear out stuff that didn't matter and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. And then finally I'd have to just kind of look at it, be like, okay, yeah, these reports are good. And then I would go and I'd move them to the mailbox that they needed to be in, and my life would go on. And it would take like, I don't know, 15 minutes total for me to do it. I then proceeded to write a Python script that used PowerShell commands to basically just like download from the email the 2 emails that I needed, and then run the macros on it, open them up, and all it took was like a click of the button to do it. And then I would just like glance at them and be like, yeah, it's good, and then close it.
Yeah.
It took like 3 seconds to do a 15-minute job, and it's like, where does it end?
Yeah, it really doesn't. I actually have a similar story. Somebody subbed to me on Twitch. All right, well, thank you, whoever that was. I missed that. I had a job on a online auction site. I was a contractor for them.
Sounds amazing.
I'm not going to say who they were for similar reasons. Let's just say that they're not Amazon. They're
www.pornhub.com.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Give or take. Okay.
My job was reviewing item listings on the site. People would put things up for auction or an AKA a buy it now kind of thing, but I won't name the site. And just reviewing stuff that was on the site and figuring out, because this was like a few years ago before a lot of that stuff kind of took off, like around the scripting, and like the OCR wasn't a thing, and like all that kind of stuff. So none of that existed. So the job was to look, what are people selling? Is it illegal? First of all, like there were people like trying to like sell their children and shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, another person was selling kidney stones.
That's a little weird.
Yeah, like little vials of kidney stones. Anyway, that's a different conversation. I thought I could stop that, by the way. I was close. I had the right idea.
That was good effort.
The tool that they had for whatever reason, they didn't lock down like some of the very simple automation stuff that was in there. So I ended up writing just a couple like really small scripts to make my job a lot easier. And I could perform 12 times what other people could at the company doing like a similar job. Because there was a few of us, because, you know, there's a lot of stuff on that site.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. And then I showed them, and this is where like I stopped really kind of giving a shit about the company. I was like, check this out. I built this. Anybody can use it. There's still technically like human input, because it was very, very simple. They were like, this is amazing. Let's implement it. And then I get a 10-cent an hour raise as part of this. And I was like, all right, I'm done. Like,
yeah.
I'm officially done with that. I hope that doesn't happen with, this is kind of the whole point of the story here, is I hope that doesn't happen with automation.
Yeah.
Where, it's just become so easy to do that, like, we're just not going to pay people that are doing the automation. Because I do think that you're either on one side or the other. You're either doing the automation or you're going to be automated. I think that's where it's...
Yeah, 100%, dude.
And I hope that... I just hope that it's not deemed as like, just pay somebody like nothing to do the automation, because then it's just going to be terrible and not fun. And
it's even weirder because we're approaching that point, and I say approaching, this is probably 100 years down the line, but we're approaching that point where certain just careers in general are just going to get 100% wiped out.
Oh yeah, if you're a truck driver right now, like, maybe learn some C++. Like,
yeah. And it's like other things like, you know, car insurance agencies. Give it 15 years, you're not going to have them anymore.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be able to get insurance on a car that you're not driving. Like,
well, yeah,
you know?
and even then, even if there's like a classic, you can have like classic insurance and you can drive if you want. It's
not going to be, you know, freaking Allstate is not going to be as big as what, you know, Allstate and State Farm are not going to be as big as what they were today.
No.
Because it's just not something, so they're going to be laying off people, and then now we're going to have, you know, more, like, less jobs out there, basically due to the fact that we're automating everything. Which is good and is bad, because, like, automation's great. It creates more, you know, viable success, blah, 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 blah. But then there reaches a point where it's like, okay, well, how much is too much? And then in the end, what the hell's our world going to look like if everything is robots? You know, is Wall-E freaking predicting the future here?
Yeah.
And the human race is just going to be a bunch of, you know, fat dudes sitting around in, you know, movable chairs on a Space Emporium or whatever that place was.
Yeah. I totally agree. I actually think that there's some stuff that can be done even now in terms of like automation, because there's like, you know, the term like universal income and stuff, where like everybody kind of gets a minimum to live and pay their modest mortgage or rent or whatever you kind of want at that point. But there's always the question of like, how do you pay for it? And I actually think it's a really easy answer is look at like the automation hours, like man hours of like how much you're saving with a certain piece of automation, and just tax it. Just be like, look, the company, you're going to save money for automating, and we're going to tax you because we still got stuff to pay for. We still got people. They're getting older. Health concerns are becoming more and more prevalent.
Yeah.
Just build the automation hours. Because I really think that it's not a great thing if a company is looking at automation as a profit line. Dang.
Sorry.
No, it's dude, 100% on me. But
How in the hell I centered it? Like, I put it on the floor in front of our goal. Hey, your fault.
oh, I'm so
But
close.
yeah, I mean, I'm totally with you on that. Automation is something where, you know, being in, you know, as many people know, and maybe people don't know, you know, you and I are both in security when it comes to technology, and we're basically like, we're set for jobs for the rest of our life.
Pretty much.
Because, you know, it's basically the only field that's going to continue to coexist with the world changing, because you're going to have people creating software, and that software is going to be easily broken and, you know, weirded. I don't know what other word to use here.
Yeah. The Stack Overflow exists for a reason. Like,
yeah, and it's like we're gonna be at the forefront. So I can't sit here and be like, you know, automation is bad, because in the end I'm the one, you know, collecting the paycheck from it. But what I can say is that I'm not necessarily 100% on board.
I kind of agree with that. I think that's kind of the use case for the automation that I might struggle with. Like, I don't know, people still need to work, and not even from like necessarily like a payment perspective. And it's going to sound weird, but people need to be fulfilled in their day-to-day lives, right? Like, you need to do something to feel happy. And
100%.
if you don't have that, and that's really the point of technology, right? Like, at its core is meant to free up the mundane from human beings to allow like creativity and stuff exist and like allow those higher pursuits, basically. And I think that's kind of the end goal. But the problem is that we live in a capitalist society, and I don't know if that's what's going to happen. I think you might see companies like a card company that rhymes with Mjord just automate everything and just take a profit line, right?
Yeah, it's tough to say, but I think you nailed it on the head when you said technology has made it where human beings can find other ways to be fulfilled. Because wow, holy crap, that was good. These are the same guys.
They are, yeah. Naruto,
but
yeah.
It's like, you know, people, you know, the old folks always say, you know, back in my day, we didn't have none of this. We had fun by, you know, painting clothespins. And you're like, okay, Grandpa, that's weird. Don't really see how that's fun. But the fact of the matter is, what we've now allowed for with technology is to open up entire realms of new hobbies, new possibilities, new just new
Absolutely.
everything, and it's an understanding in the world right now of people that don't get it. You know, even what we do, you know, I try to explain to my parents, yeah, I play video games on the internet, and I talk to people, and then they give me money for it, and they're like, okay, how the hell did you get this? Like,
Yeah.
and I go, to be honest with you, I really don't know, but it's like, it's not something that makes sense to anybody, and
No.
I get it a lot of the time. You know,
Yeah, but
it's weird, and thus, but like back in the day, I'm sure that it was weird when they, you know, created the cotton gin, because you were no longer picking cotton by hand. It's like,
That's a very good point.
world goes through technology changes. It's just the fact that like technology right now is expanding at such an alarming rate.
Yeah. Moore's law is just taking off. Like, it's actually surpassing right now. And if we got to stop doing this.
Yeah, I know.
If like quantum computing, which I'm not going to talk about as a concept too much, but if it never happens, we're something like 50 years away from having the fastest computer we'll ever have. That's not that far.
Oh, not at all, dude.
Like,
It's actually, it's funny you bring it up. I'm taking a cryptography class right now. And without going into, you know, too much gory detail about, Jonusfatson is carrying the team today.
Apparently.
without going into too much gory detail about cryptography, because honestly, it's a genuinely, it sounds exciting to people, but it's genuinely pretty boring.
If you like reading prime numbers, it's really fun.
Yeah, but we were talking today about like how different encryption algorithms, use a certain number of bits, and that in turn makes where some computers today legitimately just, you will not, it will take them longer than the world has been in existence to crack some of these things by brute forcing it. Right. It's like 2 to the 128th power, which is larger, like almost 3 times the size of what a mole is, which is 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd, which is just absolutely ludicrous how big these numbers actually are. Like, you can't even imagine what they look like because of how ridiculous it is. And to just think that, like, we are in a position where there are computers out there right now that can get close to cracking, some 2 to the 128th power code right now.
Right, yeah.
What the hell is the future if we already have crap that's doing it? Like, this is stuff where the normal computer today, sure, it's taking a lifetime, but there's still... that guy saved that?
What?
Holy crap. But the fact that there's computers out there already today that can do it, it's not like they're whipping it out in a minute, but it's like, a couple days and they're going to have it finished, or a couple months or whatever, which is still ridiculous because we're still not even close to having what the max CPU and max everything else that is out there. It's just absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah,
every time I try and think about it, it just blows me away.
Yeah, and to be fair, the limits that I'm talking about are actually like physical limits. Like, the laws of physics will not let you transfer files faster than the speed of light. Like, that is a hard-coded limit, and that's where pun intended. That's where quantum computing is like, those rules, maybe they don't exist. And that's the real crazy part. And it's still like theoretical at this point.
Yeah. I was just like, I feel like we're covering, this is like, people are going to be like, am I watching Rocket League or am I listening to an academic paper today? But it's like nuclear fusion as well. It's something that, while it's not necessarily possible right now, like, pretty much everybody in this universe believes that we're going to be getting it in the next, like, not, 10 years, but it's going to happen eventually on Earth. It's just figuring out how to do it. But when it officially happens, like, one fusion reactor sitting in, desolate Armenia somewhere is going to be enough to power the entire world. That's insanity.
Like, at that time too, like the world's population being like doubled or tripled by then.
I mean, like, that's actually just completely ridiculous. How do you plan for how do you plan for that? Like, all of a sudden, all of these, and that, it goes back to where, what is the world going to look like if technology does advance as fast as it has in the past 50 years, 100 years, whatever. If we already have, one of these things that, when it happens, it's wiping out like entire industries.
Yeah. Well, like, look at,
we're focusing on solar power as, it's the next clean energy. Nuclear energy is pretty damn clean to begin with. If we can create clean nuclear energy that powers the entire world, I mean, like, solar is done. There's no reason to have it.
Yeah. Oh my god, what am I doing? That was just passing. That's all that was.
Yeah, it's a good pass.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like, the other thing too is like, what do the industries look like when there's industries that will exist that we haven't even thought of?
Oh, that's the even scarier part. There's jobs out there that we can't even imagine are, but are.
That was a nice pass.
It's like, robot enforcer is going to be a job someday. And you're like, what the hell does a robot enforcer do? But how do we know?
Yeah, exactly. I think what it is though is partly because we're still in like an intermediary state right now where,
or look, That's a callback.
Oh no. Like the lawmakers in both of our countries are typically baby boomer generation. And as much as like, first of all, I'm not necessarily like the biggest fan of baby boomers, and if there are some watching, my bad. But they didn't have the internet growing up. They didn't have like technology as we know it today. But they're driving a lot of the regulations around that are going to affect us for like 100, 200 years potentially. And that's where I get scared, because I'm like, if you don't understand it, that's a problem. Like, look at Zuckerberg's Congress interview.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, well, like if I use WhatsApp and it's encrypted end to end, that means you can still see it. It's like, no, I don't think you understand how that works. We don't see it. And they're just like, yeah, but no, we know you see it. It's like, or like if I post to my wall and I tag my mom, does my mom see it? It's like, you're creating regulation. What is wrong with you? And that's the scary part. You can have your own dumb opinion about, first of all, why you're using Facebook in the first place.
Yeah, well, because
only people 100 years old use it still.
Or people that really enjoy having all of their information breached every day, but who am I to say anything bad about Facebook?
Yeah.
Who knows? There's probably somebody posting my videos all over Facebook, and I'm getting, thousands of views from it. So at this point, Facebook, you're my best friend, but
with don't forget the text on the top and the bottom of it.
Yeah.
But again, that's where I get frustrated with it, where I'm like, man, like, you guys, you're given like this opportunity. How many times in human history have we been in a place where change has existed as much as it is right now?
Yeah.
There's never been. Like, we're living in
I don't know.
What do you, like, maybe when we walked out of the primordial ooze, maybe.
I mean, one could argue that, like, moving into the industrial age is about as big of a change as human beings can go through. I mean, you're talking about literally people went from, I know I'm going to literally use the cotton. Did I say Stone Age or Industrial Age?
You said Industrial Age, yeah.
Okay, good. Because I was going to say Stone Age is not what I wanted to say here. But, like, the cotton gin, you literally, the entire days were devoted to picking cotton. And now you just have a little box that does it in, like, a couple hours.
True.
That's revolutionary. To me, the progress is when you can take tasks and then speed them up, like, tenfold.
Yeah.
And I feel like the industrial age is when we started to do that. We're advancing technology a lot, but when you look at what has changed in the past 30 years, I'll say, a lot has changed and a lot of processes have gotten faster. A lot of things have happened, but have we gone from like, what's a computer, to all of a sudden, computers are, well, I suppose kind of we did, but
yeah,
I don't know. It just, I feel like that transition isn't quite as.
See, for me, I think it is, and I think it's because I'm a little bit older.
That plays a part.
I think like my age group, which is like early 30s, like mid 30s, we saw like the transition of both. Oh, you just? So that's okay. I was just gonna score. Because like my parents, they don't really know computers at all.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, why would you like use a computer when you can just write it down? And like that, that was kind of the extent of the usage. It was like, it's a tool that I can use. And then the internet came out to kind of what it is today. Oh my God. And really did change. And like, there was a concept of information just being.
I'm so mad.
I think that was 100% me. Oh my God, they're still going.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Okay.
The concept of like information moving from passed down, or like tribal information, or like just vernacular information, I guess, for lack of a better term,
Yeah.
to just being available. Like the internet's crazy when you actually think about it. Like all of human history, all of our knowledge available to anybody at any time. And we play Rocket League on it. I think that's it for this one.
Yeah, it's absolutely it for this one because we did like 5 games in that one, I think. So,
I think so. Got it in a tangent. Yeah.
That's what happens when you enter into the research papers. So
that's true. That's true. We I give you a B- on that.
you know what? That's better.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you like what you saw from either side of the video, be sure to give us a like and a sub. It means the world to me, and I guess it's important to him as well, to Olexa. Be sure to check out both aspects, although there's not much going on my side other than running into walls. For now, we'll check you guys on the next one.
See ya.